You know, the information, I'm sorry, the information we'll be presenting to you today is not new. The UMSL College of Education has for many years desired to be an educational partner with our local school districts to help provide a pathway to certification and battle the teacher shortage that is real and impacting the lives of students and their families. As we begin to repair and recover from the year of COVID, we've all been given a great opportunity to continue partnerships and establish new ones. Our presentation today will focus on our Teach Residency Alternative Certification Program designed to take anyone with a bachelor's degree and provide the coursework and curriculum pathway to obtain their teaching certification. Through the Grow Your Own initiative, we hope to partner with you to provide a certification pipeline for current staff who are teacher of record in a school district, yet are still without their teaching certification. As they complete their teaching certification with us, they can then continue with you to help teach and impact the lives of students and their families. Congress has provided an unprecedented level of financial support for districts and schools through the Elementary and Secondary School Emergency Relief, or ESSER funds, to address the ongoing impact of COVID-19 pandemic. A significant amount of funds have been distributed to districts throughout the state of Missouri to support teacher recruitment and retention over the next 3 years. Now, in the past, the lack of financial support for potential teachers to afford the cost of certification programs like ours has always been a barrier. Now, with that barrier all but removed, thanks to the allocation of these funds and the potential for up to $1,000 in scholarships that we'll discuss later from the University of Missouri St. Louis, it's the perfect time to share how the UMSL College of Education can partner with you to help great staff become great teachers at virtually no cost to them. Now we'll have the opportunity to hear from Dr. Ross and the specific information about our Teach Residency Alternative Certification Program. Dr. Ross.
Thank you, David. So it's become more and more apparent that the adequacy of the teacher pipeline has been a concern for a number of years. And with the shortages increasing, we're seeing a number of ways in which Missouri is responding to the issue, including the most recent measure that Dave just pointed out, where Missouri is providing districts with funding now that is specifically allocated towards recruitment and retention. Well, coupled with this funding, Missouri also offers a number of ways to recruit individuals into the profession. And Dave, if you advance to the next slide. And on this slide, I provided the DESE approved methods in which an individual can enter the teaching profession with a certificate of license to teach. Most of you are familiar with the traditional route, where an individual completes the 4-year college recommended course of study. They complete their student teaching, many of them in your districts. They pass a designated assessment. They graduate with their bachelor's degree in the field of education, and then we're recommending them for initial certification. These are typically the candidates that you're recruiting to come work in your districts. Well, in addition to the traditional route, UMSL also offers programming necessary for the alternative route and the temporary authorization route. Again, these are routes where the candidate enters the field with an appropriate certificate of license to teach. This afternoon, I'll be sharing with you information regarding UMSL's DESE approved alternative route called UMSL Teach Residency. With alternative certification routes in general, the individuals that you recruit and hire as teacher of record work under a 2-year provisional certificate license. And this slide right here just kind of gives you an overview of the traditional, the alternative, and the TAC. And again, we are going to share with you this afternoon our alternative route called UMSL Teach Residency. The UMSL Teach Residency model is designed for those who wish to teach and become certified at the same time. Participants receive an alternative teaching license or a 2-year provisional certificate that permits them to perform as a full-time classroom teacher of record while completing the required coursework to earn full state certification within 2 years. UMSL offers several certification tracks, including, and Dave, can you advance to the next slide so that we can see those tracks? Including early childhood, which is a 43 credit hour program, elementary education, 32 credit hour program, middle level, all subject areas, English, math, science, and social studies, which is a 27-hour program, secondary education, English, math, science, social studies, and foreign language, which is a 27-hour program, and special education, which is a 42-hour program. Again, I want to reiterate that these are DESE-approved pathways where the resident teacher is provided an alternative teaching certificate prior to entering the classroom, making them appropriately certified to teach in your school districts. As Dave mentioned earlier, you're in a unique position that allows you to creatively grow your own teacher pipelines. This is an option that allows you to recruit from within your existing body of staff, or even recruit external members within your K-12 community. For those you're considering to recruit, use, and hire using this Teach Residency option, they must meet the following DESE requirements in order to receive the 2-year provisional teaching license, which again enables them to serve as a teacher of record. They must have a conferred undergraduate bachelor's degree. They must have a passing score on the Missouri Content Exam in their sought area of certification and placement. This is a really strong indicator of their qualification because it measures whether or not they have the content necessary to teach in that specific area. They must also be employed as teacher of record in the sought area of certification. DESE requires that districts minimally give them this designation. They must minimally be recorded for 50% of the time as teacher of record. Many school districts that use this option, or some of our partners using this option now, hire them fully to serve as a teacher of record full time. But we do have partners who are creative when they use this option. We have partners that may have needed a PE teacher and then also a middle school science. And so the middle school science might be the sought area of certification, and that person might be picking up 4 sections of middle school science and 2 sections of PE is what their instructional load might entail. We have districts who hire teachers in for the first year under their, the first year that they're teaching, they're hired in as like a fellow or they work under a lead teacher, but they're recorded in the system as teacher of record for 50% of the time. And then year 2, they take over as full lead teachers. So it's up to the district how they use the option. But I do share with districts that you can use it minimally for 50% of the time versus them being 100% full-time teacher of record. They also, a requirement is also that they come in, that DESE receives a signed academic contract. And this is a contract that's signed by the resident teacher, the school district partner, and the university, and ensures the commitment of all stakeholders involved. The contract confirms that the resident teacher is committed to meeting the university's certification requirements, coursework requirements, and that the district is committed to hiring, placing, and providing mentorship to this teacher in the sought area of certification. And finally, that the university is committed to providing not only the programming, but also the necessary qualified faculty and staff to lead and implement the program. The individual contracts are then sent to DESE and are a contributing factor towards issuance of the provisional certificate. So with the Teach Residency program, our goal is to provide programming in a manner that honors the school district's calendar and the daily scheduling of the teacher of record. With this in mind, we offer a convenient yet meaningful accelerated pathway, which allows the participant to engage in coursework through multiple formats that are delivered 100% online. Our courses are taught by full-time faculty, former superintendents, current principals, and educators who all leverage the heightened relevancy of an experiential placement, making the coursework applicable to the daily teaching and learning practices that are happening in classrooms. Our preparation program is not only aligned to Missouri educator competencies, but resident teachers are also prepared for the state assessments leading to initial certification. And at this point, I'm going to turn it back over to David, who's going to talk with you a little bit about program cost. David, you're muted.
You know, I realize how difficult it is to try to manage the chat, to manage the admitting people, to check the script, move the slides, and you should see my computer screen. It's all over the place. All right, thank you. In order to participate in any college program, be it undergraduate or graduate, there is a cost. Our Teach Residency Alternative Certification Program is part of our graduate school. The current rate for credit hour at the graduate level is $511.80 for graduate tuition and a College of Education supplemental fee of $29.80 per credit hour. Some of you may have done your homework and seen that the fee schedule for the 21-22 academic year shows an increase in tuition fees. However, we've been assured by our leadership that at least for the 2021-2020 school year, academic year, the fees will stay the same at the $511.80 per credit hour fee. There will be no increases in fees for next school year. On this slide, you can see the overall cost estimated for the program based on those numbers and the number of credit hours required for the Teach Residency program completion. Credit hour requirements are based on DESE and their certification requirements for these specific specializations. Our financial leadership at UMSL is committed to helping ease the financial burden on districts and students in the Grow Your Own Teach Residency program. They are willing to allow a first semester $1,000 scholarship and a waiver of the application fee of $50 for any district that is able to provide us with a cohort of 8 students to the Teach Residency program utilizing the ESSER funding. That scholarship, combined with the emergency relief funds provided to help support districts in teacher recruitment and retention, will all but allow these prospective students to incur little, if any, expense to complete this program. We could not be happier with this tremendous provision and want to help support you in your efforts to find and keep great teachers. Now, we realize it may be difficult for some of you to find 8 candidates for our Teach Residency program, and that's okay. If this is the case, please do not assume that the scholarship is out of the question. We want to work with you, so please let us know where you stand. If you have 3 or 4 or 5, however many you have, and want to enroll in the Teach Residency program, you can still do that. And then we would be happy to go before our leadership and advocate on your behalf to say that we didn't make the 8 cohort, but we still would like to provide the scholarship for these prospective students. We can say with all confidence that if you do have 8 staff who are teacher of record for at least 50% of the academic day and enroll and are accepted to our Teach Residency program using the ESSER funding, that $1,000 scholarship and app waiver fee will be applied. And now back to Dr. Ross.
I apologize. I am having some technology issues. So if Teach Residency is the option or is an option that you're thinking of considering, our next step will be to schedule an individual meeting with your district lead to get you started. Meanwhile, the following slide shows an example of what you can expect to see happen during the residency Grow Your Own Pipeline partnership. At the onset, Dave and I will work with you to strategize how you use this option. You'll consider who you'll target. Will you promote interest from within, or will you share this opportunity externally with community members who might also make great teachers in your district? Could it be Ms. Wright, who has a degree in chemistry and often volunteers to tutor students who are struggling in chemistry? Or internally, could it be your paras, your long-term subs, your interventionists who'd also make great teachers? Some districts also consider recruiting teachers to fill high needs areas like SPED or STEM positions, or even some partners use it to recruit for diversity. Importantly, you're thinking creatively for ways to address your district's specific need, keeping in mind that this is an option that places a resident teacher in the classroom right away. With internal grow your own pipelines, you'll want to collaborate with your principals as they are directly connected to internal talent and can support recruitment. And although optional, UMSL will support you with marketing materials, such as a residency informational flyer and correspondence regarding upcoming informational meetings. In addition, we'll conduct the informational sessions that you're hosting regarding the residency model and guide interested prospects through the initial screening steps. Finally, we will connect you with the candidates who have met the requirements for the provisional certification and are ready to enter your residency Grow Your Own pipeline. These candidates will follow your application process, including screenings, applications, interviews, and whatever process your district entails. And then we will onboard any candidate who becomes a fit for your district and is offered a full-time teaching placement in the sought area of certification. From there, we will monitor and track the resident teacher through the complete certification process, ensuring that all participants are in compliance with DESE. And at this point, we are going to open it up for questions that you might have regarding this model and this option.
Thanks, Dr. Ross. Appreciate your presentation and your leadership for our program. It's just tremendous the work you do and the way that we've been able to support and work with districts around the area. If you do have a question and wouldn't mind, please use the raise hand feature. It'll show up right next to your name. If you go to the participant menu, you'll see a little blue button where you can just raise your hand, and it will give me a chance to know who wants to ask a question so that we don't become our students and all start talking at once. What I will tell you right now is on the screen from the presentation is Dr. Ross and my email. I'll leave this up for a couple of minutes and then I'll turn this off. But you do have our contact information. Most of you received maybe too many emails from me over the last week or so promoting our presentation today. So if you did, you definitely have my contact information. You can use that anytime. So appreciate that. So at this time, if anyone has any questions, feel free to either put something in the chat or use the raise hand feature, and we'll be happy to field any questions that you have. You know, you've been given a lot of information, and I will just say this, coming from a K-12 administrator, I've lived the world that you're in. And, you know, we see every day districts that really need the opportunity to put great teachers in classrooms. I remember many times that we would have a phenomenal candidate that we wanted to hire, and the certification just wasn't there. And so unfortunately for us in the district I was in, it wasn't an option to entertain that person as a candidate. With the teach residency program and what we offer through this, it gives anyone the opportunity to take a great staff member, whether it's a paraprofessional, whether it's a coach, even a parent that works very closely in the school, and you just think, man, that person would be phenomenal in the classroom. I so wish we could hire that person. This is your opportunity to do that. This is your opportunity to put that person in the classroom, give them the job as teacher of record, and then they teach and they get their certification through the teach residency program. It helps immensely, especially with districts that really have a hard time filling positions. And we know that that's real, and we know that that's out there. So it's just an incredible opportunity now with the funding that's available, with the scholarship opportunities, to be able to eliminate that cost factor that was always the biggest barrier and just provide the opportunity to make this happen. So I'm excited, and I'm very grateful to be part of a process where we can partner with you and help in this area. Anyone have any questions? Feel free to ask. All right. Well, we'll hang around for a few minutes if anyone wants to stay and talk. I'll also, like I said, be posting our YouTube, the recording of the presentation on YouTube, so you can view that and share that with anyone that might be interested. Otherwise, our presentation has concluded. So thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Ross, for presenting the Teach Residency program. And we are happy to.
David,
yes.
before you log off, I did enter a question in the chat. Maybe you wanted me to speak, but I just said, I know your classes are all online. Are these going to be live streamed at set times each week so that a teacher would have to just build that time into their weekly schedule? Or are they recorded so that the teacher can view it at their convenience and complete the class that way?
I'm back. I apologize for my internet going out, but I can answer that question. The courses are all asynchronous. So it is the teachers, there aren't synchronous times where participants have to log on. And teachers do use recordings for any portions of their coursework that they need as lecture, or, that's all built into the actual course. But everything is asynchronous in the program.
Okay, great. That's good.
Great. Thank you. We also had a question, Dr. Ross, from Monica Williams. Do we already have people in the pipeline who are looking for a job?
Absolutely. And with some of our partners, we actually that are not fully in recruitment mode, but they are definitely looking for participants that need placement. We send some of our partners leads. So if you're interested in us sending participants to you who are fully eligible and are just looking for a teaching job placement, you can reach out to me, and I'll make sure that we forward leads to you as well. We usually let the person, when they come in without coming through a district, we're very upfront that we don't hire, we don't provide placement, but we do work with specific partners that we know will hire using this option. And so we send those leads to those partners. But again, if you're interested in receiving those leads, we will add you to the list.
All right. Any other questions? We're happy to stick around for a few more minutes. Anyone else have any questions at all about the Teach Residency program or anything we presented today? Thank you, Ms. Deloche. Appreciate you being here, and appreciate the support and the partnership with you guys. All right. Well, we're going to call it a day then, and hopefully batten down the hatches before the big storms start going crazy around town. So stay safe out there, everyone. Have a wonderful summer. If you want to continue the conversation or have other questions, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to meet with you one-on-one anytime. Beautiful thing about our world that we've been living in the last few months is our last year is that we can just do this anytime and it's very convenient. So we're happy to meet with you and have further conversations whenever you would like. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. Appreciate it. Have a great day and have a great rest of the summer.
Thank you, guys.